Do you think?
Look, we're both kind of in the screen this time.
It's far back, but we're here. Hey, Karen.
It's even my water and my monster.
And we have a candle, but I'm not sure why we have a candle lit
And
right
my
there.
can of Wendy's chili.
I feel like we're going to do a newscast.
I know.
Is that how you feel? Because we have like the camera there and then we're doing this here. It's not a newscast. We are not prepared to do a newscast.
We aren't.
But how are you guys? I'm going to have to look at the chat on here because that chat is too far away.
I'm looking at there was a video that says the ability to do it on the streets. And it's like, I don't get it.
Hey, Kaki, you mean hey, Ricky, you mean do it?
No, like.
Oh. I was like, oh my goodness. It was kind of a last minute decision to do a live stream, but it's cool because it's Monday and Sean is off tomorrow. And so I thought, well, let's do it. And so Sean's second birthday gift from the party came in. It came in late off of Amazon, but it did finally come in. It was his Led Zeppelin t-shirt, and then I gave him the Grateful Dead the one that you saw in the like little montage thing. If you watched it on this channel,
Do that and then that. Oh, let me go back up.
Oh, okay. It is hold on. It's the Led Zeppelin t-shirt. Show it off. That was the second part to his present. It was funny because the Grateful Dead, the tie-dye one I got because Sean has decided that I have thrown away all of his tie-dye t-shirts. Every single one of them. I don't think that he's even had any since college.
Yeah, they might not have made it.
But maybe have you had any since college?
Maybe one or two.
Yeah.
But they probably just didn't make it out of
hell.
It didn't make the transition through the dark black hole.
Yeah. There's lots of dark black holes in North Carolina. There's any number. Okay. So, did you like the thumbnail? You can now get Wendy's chili canned. Mm-hmm. It is extremely expensive, in my opinion.
Yeah.
At Publix, it was $4.45 or something like that for one can of chili.
And what I understand about it is all they do is put like chocolate in their chili.
I've heard that. I've heard that they do that. Hey, Rez, how are you? It's good to see you. So that was part of the reason we put the thumbnail in there. And the other reason we put the thumbnail there and we were just going to talk to our hillbilly friend.
That just want to keep
she's not
mentioning.
She doesn't want to be a hillbilly friend.
And we're being sort of encouraged by a couple other OGs that are like, dude, we're kind of digging this.
What happens, you can tell, because Randy just had to apologize for this the other day. She'll say, I'm sorry, I didn't have all the information, and, you know, I went with it, and I didn't have the story straight. Sorry, my bad, whatever.
That's all the time.
She does that all the time.
Every time.
I don't know how much credit you get for, oops, I ran with it and didn't know the whole, because it's been going on for 5, 6, 7.
See, here's the thing, and because another quote that was said today, I think by the Wendy Meister. Everybody, including us, I mean, everybody's got like their little circle of people that send information and tell, you know, and say what's going on in the stratosphere because we can't see everything.
No.
It appears that circle of people that Randy and Wendy have suck pretty bad. They don't really get information or the right information, or they give him something that's like 6 months old.
Well, at least in one instance, I know for a fact that it was just wanted it to be true so bad that they ran with it. And this is, so we've already talked about that the bad information came when they thought I was going to talk about little Rosie with DC Media. That was incorrect.
Bad information.
But
yeah, go ahead.
Now, the latest thing is that I've heard is that she said, I heard, this is Randy, that Sean...
I thought it was Wendy that said it.
I think she laughed.
Oh, did she laugh?
I'm not sure. Either one of you can correct which one said it, because you both, I'm pretty sure it's Randy.
Yeah.
She said, Sean hit on Jocelyn in DMs.
Did I?
She goes, that's what I heard.
Y'all are struggling.
Y'all are struggling. Let me tell you where you got that. You got that from about
4 months ago?
4 or 5 months ago, when Telfer said that she believed that Sean, mainly you, maybe me, we were grooming. Jocelyn.
Y'all remember
and they
that?
thought that because they thought Jocelyn was underage. Thank you, Karen. That Jocelyn was very young, maybe had just turned 18. That is absolutely not the case. So she's, as a matter of fact, she's in her late 20s. So there's that. That's where that came from. So once again, Randy got a piece of it, the piece of the accusation, but not quite right.
But who would they get that from?
That's what I'm saying. So who supposedly confided?
And it was, you could see them right now going, God damn it, give me something that I can say. Give me something that I can do. Because y'all remember that? It lasted for like a day. They're grooming Joss, and then it's like Joss is 28 years old, and it was like, oh.
And then it went the other direction.
It was like, oh, and it kind of died. And that was even for Sam, who
she even backed off.
She even backed way off. It was like,
it was worth a try. So, but anyway, that in itself is not that much fun. I mean, it's funny. Obviously, Jocelyn's not traumatized that, Randy's saying this. Nobody really cares because it's very typical. But when you talk about DMs and things and stuff that shouldn't have gone on in DMs, I am here to tell you the skeletons in your skeletons. I meant skeleton. The skeleton in your closet, my friend Randy, are way louder than mine.
And the thing is that the people that, it's like, whatever, just shut the fuck up. Because the people that are now going, guys, maybe now's the time to put this out. Or maybe now's the time to throw this soundbite out. Or maybe it's time to do this. And y'all would be the ones to do it. And it's like, well, why don't you just shut the fuck up? It's...
Well, we always kind of go, shut the fuck up, or don't, because it's drama. So if you want to keep it up, keep doing it.
Yep.
But there are certain things that we have fun with it.
Yeah.
We don't take anything about you and Wendy seriously, Randy.
The thing about it is a lot of times when you get in beef with people, it's kind of like, God, what a pain in the ass, or this or that.
But this one's fun.
They aren't able to generate like a scare factor in anybody. No. I mean, they're not the type of people that when they talk about you, they don't sound funny or witty. Especially Wendy. Wendy, I remember there was a stream that she was doing where she was going after Stephanie Brown, and she has no wit.
Nice.
She's like, ooh, I hate her. Ooh,
hey,
that bitch. Ooh, I hate her. And it's like, okay, so drag her a little bit. If you're going to do drama, then drag her. She doesn't know how. All she can do is talk about, they're a liar. They're a liar. Ooh, I hate, but there's really nothing. She must be the real life of a party when she goes to one,
I think that at this point that this is pretty much, I mean, I think that this is a wage earner for Randy.
Yeah, that's true. You have to look at it that way.
When people like us, I mean, love us, hate us, whatever, but we've got a few people that watch us. We're OGs. Mm-hmm. So to get into a little bit of beef with someone that might bring you views and super chats because they don't like us. So really, we're giving you a gift.
Right. And the fact that we're again gaining subs. We hadn't done much, but we're now at gaining subs, and we're having people go. We're like, keep doing what you're doing. Even though it's not really something that we want to do all the time, shut the fuck up.
It's fun.
And then it's... Yeah. They're there. I really, everyone has kind of held me back a little bit from the whole, play that mommy rambling stream where, where everybody thought that it was William and it happened to be Jim's voice. Play it.
I don't know where it is.
Play the soundbite. Well, we'll find it.
We'll find it. Yeah, I don't know where it is, but it was interesting how much grief that she's given to Tam Tam for her husband and how
it's and I promise you, I mean, if I'm lying, whatever, when I wasn't paying a whole lot of attention to it. Sometimes Mandi plays streams and I'm kind of doing something else and I'll come, whatever, and I'll be like, oh, and she was like, and that stream got put on private. In this Tam Tam caught onto it and was like, you want to talk about my husband? Yeah.
So it must have gotten to her in short order. Sorry, my chair it's made of wood, so
it's kind of, And they're like, not yet. Don't do that.
Well, the funniest thing, because I don't normally watch a lot of the community posts with most people. There's a few that I obviously go check, like, you know, Paula, our friends, whatever. But I checked Randy's, and I guess she was camping or something, and Mommy Ramblings had said whatever, and it said something, I don't have the screenshot, you ought to be glad that I'm not home right now. Let me find it. And I was like, oh, please.
No, you better be, you better be glad I'm out of town or something like that.
I would like to quote it correctly, so I'm going to pull it up, but I'm not going to waste time.
You see, we guys, we do all this without putting it on our computer and throwing it up on a screen for you guys, you know, like on our laptops or whatever.
But that's kind of intimidating, thinking about accidentally putting your whole like computer screen. I mean, not that we have anything that.
Well, I mean, it would be I know if some of my pictures accidentally went out there, it'd be giving them exactly what they've been searching for.
Oh look, I was going to show that my son got promoted.
Yep.
To E6.
He's an E6.
So that
still
was
fast tracking.
That was him. I just want to read it verbatim. And Mama Ricky, the video you put out for Sean was amazing. Yeah,
yes, thank you.
After that,
thank you, Mama Ricky. I appreciate you. Birthday weekend. My birthday was yesterday. We spent.
Here it is.
I had to work yesterday morning, so we spent Saturday with the fam. And
okay.
And then I saw the video from Mama Ricky. It was, if you haven't seen it, you can go to Mama Ricky's channel. Drop your link in here if you want to.
Or if someone wants to drop.
Or someone drop the link in there, and then we'll and go over and look at it.
It's very.
We appreciate you.
Okay, so this was 18 hours ago, but I screenshot it yesterday. I believe it was yesterday. So Randy had posted on her community page. You begged for it, Merb. And those of you who don't know, that is Mommy Ramblings. So she said, you begged for it, Merb, ... wait till I get home. With the devil emoji, with the smiley. That's when we want to get it on. That's the emoji we send. So I don't know about that with whatever. But, and it says, you only thought I went hard last time.
No. Nobody thinks you go hard. There's not a single person. Now, you might go and get in beef with somebody and they think it. But nobody that's ever been in the drama community considers Randy going hard for somebody. Now, she can put together a panel of some bitches on there that occasionally can, but her alone, you know, very soft. And then she throws Wendy in there, so then you have soft and pretentious. They don't have an ounce of wit or humor or sarcasm or... between them.
They clearly make themselves laugh at each other's jokes.
They do.
And they laugh. And I think that maybe even most of their people laugh with them. I don't think anybody else is. Because it's this fake little, let's talk about our dogs and cats and what's going on before we get into talking shit.
Kind of like we're doing right now. You know, but we'll talk about what we want to talk about first, and then we'll digress to the chickens. But
hey, curious kitty. Okay.
I think it all circles back around to the fact that they're still trying to act like they have some kind of moral turpitude, or they're taking the moral high ground. That's always
been my issue.
And really, I think if Randy had her way, she wouldn't. She would just be a wreck, because she's really she's going through something right now. It's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
But she has to have Wendy. Wendy's kind of like rides shotgun, and Wendy is, I mean, she's got the personality God gave a goat. But she's
incredibly fake.
She's incredibly fake, and she doesn't really have she doesn't have a personality. But she tries to keep everybody on this. They're all liars. We're not. Come here. If you want to come here, you'll hear the truth.
You're the truth, people.
When really, I don't even think her own crowd believes that anymore.
No, I don't either.
They just have a chat room where they can. It's Randy, and all these people talk to each other and all that. Even when they're going for somebody, the chat doesn't really rail on the person they're going for a little bit.
No,
they're talking
not
about
anymore.
whatever.
Not anymore. Yeah, they were liking your shirt.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that's why whenever drama is drama, I don't understand that when Wendy's ready to dismiss something, going, just never come around here again. We don't care. We don't need you. Move along or whatever. And it's like, but y'all do need them. You need people to beef with.
You need your drama.
Because that's what people...
When do subscriptions pay out? They, with AdSense, or they pay out on the first? I don't know.
I don't know.
We don't do those. So,
Yeah.
People
So
are paying money to hear what? To hear what? That's what Mandi and I ask ourselves all the time. Well, if we had a chicken channel or some other kind of channel that was really going and this and that, but Randy and Wendy, you need us. You need somebody, and you need somebody that you're not afraid to go after. That's the thing.
yeah,
They're not going after people that are other OGs in the drama community that have hardly any of them.
no.
And I'm here to tell you something. Most of them on the back burner are like, she's the noodle.
Yeah.
She's the noodle. God love her,
And
but
that's
she's the
it.
noodle.
That's what you
That's
do.
really
Hey,
is.
hey, Nelson, that's what you kind of have to, a hillbilly noodle. Okay, so this is the one 9 days ago. She posted this one. It says, I was told that the profiling manipulation, that she like tagged it, stole content. Then I was a bitch and I repeated it. I
You
apologize
do
for
that
that.
all the time.
And I will learn from it. I'm
No, you
truly
don't.
sorry. Everyone have a good night.
Um,
These are constant.
Yeah.
These are pretty constant. These little, these kind of.
Every time she, especially when she reviews the past, she'll goes, everyone know, and we're all sitting around going, I wonder what version of history she's going to come up with.
Because
this
when
time.
she says it, like when I heard what she had said about this DM and Joss or whatever, you can trace it back to where it came from.
Right.
But it's always wrong.
It's wrong,
Her,
and it's
her
old.
version of it is wrong.
Yeah, and it's old.
It's old.
It's not tea. You know, four months ago or whatever it was, 3, 4, 5 months ago, because our friend Joss was doing her channel and she's funny and she's witty and she has our back, and she goes after people that go after us. So that, you know how when that happens, other channels will try to flip the script and go after people. They figured out that Joss doesn't give a fuck about, you know, getting doxxed or this or that. She just doesn't care about it. So they had to create some kind of scandal.
Yep.
So they said that we were grooming her. Not that anyone was sharing DMs or anything like that, that we were grooming her.
And then when her age came out.
And then her age came out.
And then they were embarrassed.
And then they were like, well, damn, that shit didn't work. And then it was gone.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was insane. Yeah, I just look at this. That's the thing that I always come back to is, Randy, nobody's scared of you.
Right.
Nobody.
And part of it is because people will listen to it and go, oh, Randy's live, and Randy's OG, and she, you know, she has her channel and she works very hard on it. So we listen to it to figure out, A, what version of history, because it's going to be not right. Normally, and it's got to be a different version because she's normally smack dab in the middle of the fuck shit that's going on that she's talking about. And people know that, but she's got to make herself, she's got to keep that moral high ground. And number two, it's they watch her to just go, no,
Yeah.
you know, and
When we first started
What are you
mentioning
doing?
some of this stuff, I thought for sure that, you know, there's a huge number of people that, you know, feel the opposite, but it's actually been the other way. So there's that. And
you thought what, baby?
I said I used to think that well, we do what we do without worrying about how many people might feel a different way, obviously, because we do what we do. But when I realized that some of the OGs and the ones that used to ride hard for, you know, for them or for her aren't there. Well,
They're not
Sin
doing-
they
not
threw out.
anymore.
I'm still waiting for her to come back because she'll be back. She'll be
Yeah,
back.
she'll pop up with somebody, and I hope she pops up. And then when Sin wants to tell her side, see what Randy and Wendy had to do was they had to discredit Sin so that when she does pop up somewhere, or anybody else that they're talking about, there's a reason they do it. They're about to pop up and they're going to talk about some fuck shit that they got into with Randy or that they know about Randy. And
I'd still like to know about the $1,200 from Stellar.
I know. And that's the thing. It's just one thing after another.
And what was the content of all of the exchanges with FOD?
Because, you know, Randy wants to use the term cuck.
Yeah, she likes that term.
She likes to, yeah, but she's the one that's fucking around with other dudes on the internet for money, you know? Or
Whatever she's doing it for.
Whatever she's doing.
I think that it's incredibly disrespectful to get
Right.
$1,200 from a man.
I mean, I don't know
for
what would
any
happen.
sort of loan, whether it was a gift, a loan, or whatever. I think that's highly inappropriate.
I could picture it. Hey, babe. Hey, what's up? I just got $1,200 from such and such. I'd be like,
Well,
why?
that
You know?
without going too deep into it, when she got that check from that man from the church or whatever, you did the same thing. You were like, no, I am your husband.
Right.
You don't get money from other people.
Right, exactly.
We don't have
it's
it.
not
We
like
make it.
it's not like in this
It's very
situation.
disrespectful.
That's right. And so
Very
he kind of looks like
disrespectful.
I kind of looked like back
Hey, Ricky,
then.
have a good night, Mama Ricky.
And the thing is that it's not like, oh, that's money from a subscriber, or that's this or that. That's $1,200 monthly.
That's $1,200.
Yep.
And it was never supposed to come to the light, as it never should. Look, I'm here to say, when I have given and I have requested small amounts of money with my good friends for one reason or the other. Normally because I can't find my debit card and I only have my PayPal card, normally. But
And when friends come to us and say, hey, can you help a sister out? We do that too.
well, but I mean, just in general. So I know it's no fun when it comes to light. And I can't even remember the circumstances of why it was discovered. It sounds like they quit being friends, so he brought up the money.
Yeah, that could be. I mean, that's what happens in the drama community.
You're getting thousands of dollars from men. Don't call me shady as fuck.
I know. Don't be
Don't
saying.
call me. They said that. Hey, Callie. They said that. Camp said my twins are coming for your Braves.
Oh. They've got the only reason the Twins would ever.
Sean goes.
We're gonna change gears
he
here.
He smiled and was like,
Wait a second, stop. This is some serious shit right here. The reason the Braves would have to meet the Twins in the World Series. So both of those teams have to go through a couple of rounds, but we'll see. I would like to see the Twins in the World Series. And if they wasn't against the Braves, I'd pull for the Twins.
He's a pretty fair baseball,
I like Carlos Correa. I do like him. A lot of people don't like Carlos Correa because A, he was with the cheating Astros, and B, he went for the money. You can't blame him for either. He won a chip with the Astros, and then he took a huge payday from the Twins. Can't blame him. Can't blame him.
No, it's an interesting point though. I don't even think I know who the Twins play.
Minnesota.
Yeah. Okay, now I know. I feel like we're sitting here talking like newscasters.
You know,
and
when some people,
what's the weather going to be like tomorrow, Sean?
You know, when people will derail a streamer by that did it right there. They're like,
oh, speaking of, I heard a sound bite where someone asked for a shout out for. I'm not going to say. I might write it out.
No, don't even do that.
And she said it. And she gave the shout out and never knew. It was one of those we too low moments where the person read it out loud and didn't realize what she was saying. And then, of course, it was captured. And it's making its way around.
She's another.
I love that for her.
Well, her boobs are on the internet too.
Hey, Just Trolling. Just Trolling, they don't block you because every time you come in, we say hi to you. And then you go, oh, got to go troll somewhere else.
Yeah, unless they made a new Just Trolling, but
yeah, I doubt it. We're pretty easygoing, unless you say stuff we don't like. We have very fragile feelings.
We do,
and we cry a lot.
But we will tell you, as history has unfolded, we will tell you exactly how it unfolded. I think the biggest thing for me about, responding or going back and forth with Randy and Wendy is that. I was surprised at the other OGs that are like, okay, y'all, okay. I mean, it really wasn't worth it for us to do it, but it's entertaining to watch it because she's a noodle.
Yeah. There are things like over time that have happened with her in particular, with Randy. I don't really classify Wendy as part of that because I think that she's just there so that Randy has someone that can help her stay on track and not get crazy unless she gets mad at her. And then
she needs to have her because if she just does a stream by herself, that's a drama. From what I understand is Randy will do a stream like in the mornings or whatever and just talk about whatever and people are like, meh.
Yeah.
So when she does drama, the couple of times, it's like, I think you were like the third time, like when you went on there just without anybody and everyone around her was like, Randy, you can't do this.
Well, you
can't do this.
My biggest thing with Wendy is that she's always there in whatever situation, but never knows anything about anything. So when they're about to have it out on panel, right? Say Tiffany Marie and Randy, and I guess a little bit of Wendy, but again, Wendy's not, she doesn't really count in the beef because she's just kind of there.
Her number one tactic is gaslight. I mean, that's the biggest thing she does is very stoically gaslight
once
people.
like when like Tiffany Marie got on and was ready to talk, you know, about things that happened between the two of them, and I think it was like rehashing it, but she was ready to talk, and it had a lot to do with, for shame, missing money. But anyways,
it's always about missing money.
She jumped off. She didn't even really get going. She jumped off. I think they booted her, but she said like
they did to you.
She rage booted. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a classic example of what the two of them do once the person gets down. Whether it goes well, but more so if it goes really bad, this is what they do. They'll start talking horrible bullshit. They'll start like rumors that they've heard about them, like the produce, you know, like the carrots and the I'm not even gonna say it again, but that
what is their fixation with stuff like that?
And they go low, like they get the person off, and then they're like, oh, there you go, and then they're like, huh, they're gone
after they boot them,
and then they go low, like
can't do it when
really
people are
low.
on there.
And I consider going, oh, it was a rumor that for so and so with carrots, and we're too old for that.
And the thing is, there's never any kind of witty things like listen up and girl, and I'm gonna bluff. She's just like, yeah.
I think the two of them talking together, and maybe a handful of people, minus Sin because she's not there, make them think, oh, you got her. You got him good. Yeah, Wendy's like, oh yeah, we got her. And,
yeah, you got her.
And people watching are going, turning the channel.
They're like,
opening another blow pop, put it in my mouth. I'm like,
that person just was on your stream, holding their own against you, tit for tat. And then you boot them, and then you attack them, and that's what they do. Someone else mentioned this, and I think it's the best analogy. They call them like the homeowners association.
Who?
Like just Randy and Wendy are like the homeowners association.
The hall monitors or something.
Like the country club, you know, gossip tank that's there that sit around, and this like the chat is the homeowners group, and they're. You know, most of them just don't really like them, but they have this small little group of mean girls and stuff like that. I thought it was a good analogy. I was like, the homeowners association.
My biggest problem, I guess, ongoing with the two of them is the pretentiousness of Wendy. The way she comes off, like she's a little bit less mean, less messy, less cutthroat, if that is even a thing in this, less, you know, mean girl, that she just really likes the truth and this and that. And it's a bunch of bullshit. And respectfully, everyone knows it's bullshit. Yeah. They didn't used to know it.
They did. I think they're starting to know it.
They know now that there is.
And I really think, I think that's dead on. I think they're starting to understand as they're taking it from all these different places that. So she's got to circle the wagons and go back to mommy rambling, because it's really the only one that, honestly, you know, she'll say whatever she has to say, and then she doesn't really give a fuck what Randy says afterwards.
That's the other thing. They nobody watches the clip that I got where they said that about Jocelyn, about the whatever. The most fun, and I tell you guys all the time, is to talk shit about somebody, and then be done.
Yeah, be done.
And then don't watch what they say.
Which is what we've tried a couple of times here, but it's just Mandi will be like, you know who piped up today or called me or slipped in my DMs or said this, and I'm like, who? And she'll tell me the names, and I'm like, really? They said, yeah, they noticed it, and they're here for it, you know. And I'm like, wow. There's
a few things that I've heard several times that Randy has said. Number one, that tears bring in the cash apps. I've heard her say that. And not cash apps, super chat.
And you know what? And there's other YouTubers that know that
do
too.
The same thing. We're almost done, Sawyer. Just a second. You went out right before we came in. But that's pretty much the.
I think they didn't understand what you're saying, that everyone else was kind of like, well, they've got this channel, they've got this. But the sin thing, people were like, really? Really? I think the soundbite of Wendy going, and she said she didn't like, does she really not like herself? Just look at gaslighting. Look at gaslighting. Yeah. Look at her gaslighting the chat and patronizing it. You know, it is what she does. And I don't know, I'm not a therapist or anything. You know, I've been in a
That's too
couple of
little.
really, really bad relationships, but there's some pathology to that.
Too little. I'll get you
It's like, it's kind of a shut in. I don't get out much. I don't have any real interaction. YouTube is my interaction type of situation. But I think the sin thing, there was enough people. The one you heard from a few people that were, you know, voiced it. There were as many people that were sitting back going, thank y'all. You know, thank not just us, but the other people who spoke out on it. And I think now they're kind of understanding that we got our channel.
Yes, Lexi.
Let's just keep our channel close to us, because that's the other thing that happens. Randy, she'll try to like go out and try to extend her, you know, her people, or, you know, try to reach out to other, and she always, they're always like, shut the fuck up and get out
they're
of here.
never interested.
They're not interested in it.
Let's see. Lexi says the two of them have been dirty since they've been on YouTube. So Just Sean says, see, I'm a heathen. I spit sunflower seeds and Slim Jim wrappers out the window. I can do hoity-toity. That's cute. It sounds like Tanner.
That sounds like a lot of guys.
And then B has been back on very, very long. Yeah, B hasn't been there in a very long time. She popped in once in a while, way back. Yeah.
She's way back in the day. I think it's
Ooh, I hit the thing. Go ahead.
pre Dr. Phil days. You know, I would have believed, you know, there was a lot of controversy about YouTube relationships and this and that, and were they real? Well, Randy and B met up. I don't know how many times but you know, they got matching tattoos. So and I couldn't deny the fact that, you know, hey, you know what? They really went and did that. And then so for B to kind of part ways, that was kind of like, and it really wasn't that big a deal, because that was the first time.
But like you said, like they were saying, she has been back a couple of times. She popped back on when we were in the apartment someone was talking about their own, like how big their anatomy was or whatever. And then B said, she goes, you see, there's another one that talks about, you know, Tomahawk Sean's anatomy constantly, all the time. And she was like, you know who's not talking about it? ATX.
That was B. That was B.
That was
said
B.
That.
Yeah,
And,
it was funny.
But then, I mean, I think that the first crack was the whole Diane thing. That was the first, when the mask started to come down.
Yeah.
Because when you deal with people who, and I don't know if they're like clinical narcissists or whatever, but that mask will finally break. And the thing with Diane, if you remember, you know, they weren't ready. They were circling her back, and they were doing the cycle of whatever. And they were letting, y'all remember, they were letting Diane back on. And they would address their people. This is Randy and Wendy, and that, are you gonna hang out? Are you gonna stream anymore with Diane? And they weren't really sure.
They didn't know. There was yes and no.
There was yes or no, and then Diane came back in, and finally, other members of the DC, and I think it was Savage was the final blow, but Sam and a bunch of other people were basically like the rest of the community that was kind of like, look, we'll make up your mind for you. The noodle's going to go with whichever popular opinion is. And it ended up being that some of the other platforms were like, no. And I think that was where suddenly it was like, you know, this bitch ain't shit. You know, she's not about nothing, you know. If the community had said, let Diane back on and this and that, they'd be scrambling to have some kind of channel with her.
Yeah.
They would have been scrambling to do it.
Yeah. No, you're right about that. He keeps
There's very, very little people, and I wonder if they understand this now, but I think they're starting to, that have exonerated and think that those two didn't have anything to do with the St. Jude. They didn't have any knowledge. Now, I don't know. I honestly don't know what the truth is, but
I used to didn't think that they did. Or Randy, I do now.
Yeah.
I think she got her. I think she got her fair share, and I think that that's why until it became impossible for Diane to come back on and stay on, I think that's when Randy was kind of freed from streaming with her.
Yep. But it took other YouTubers to do it. It took other DC people to go, no.
Hey, Laura's Hope says, happy birthday, love the brace. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I used to didn't think so, but I do now, and I think that Wendy's always been cool. I think Wendy's always just got nothing from nothing. I think her currency in this whole thing is a desire to be needed.
I think the currency is a good word. This place sort of fills sort of an empty spot. She's not very deep, Wendy isn't. You'll never hear her go and talk about anything with a whole lot of substance.
Yeah.
It's very curt, short, chopped up. She wants the approval, she soaks it in. I don't think she gets it anywhere else.
I don't either.
I think that when she goes on YouTube, I think that's the attention that she gets. I think that's the extent of it.
Yeah. I think that she likes the people in the chat, and some of them she likes more than others. I don't think that Wendy's motivated by money. I don't think in just the way that she is, that's not her motivation. Randy, I think she's motivated by money.
And she's going to continue to be the way that she is.
Hey, Melinda.
So there's that. She's going to continue to be oblivious of how the tides of opinion are changing. She's just going to continue to gaslight and continue to try to keep that moral high ground and continue to
I just wish she'd be a little more.
I wish she had a personality.
Yeah.
She's got no personality. That's the thing.
Yeah, it's kind of hard. That's why it's hard for her to bounce off of another person, unless it's to finish sentences, correct words, listen to a funny story.
I think what Randy's good at is, kind of saying, this is what we need to do. This is what has to happen, or this is the direction we're going into. And, and yeah, you're right. I don't think the couple of times when Wendy has gone with her own channel, she has a channel and people pay her money for content. She tries, the Stephanie Brown one sticks out in my head, where she was trying to drag Stephanie Brown and all she could say was, I hate that.
That was recently?
It was a little while ago, but
okay.
it was all I needed to hear. It was like, ooh, and she couldn't flow with any kind of substance. It was just, I don't like them.
When she gets pissed, she loses her religion and starts saying all kinds of things. She'll quote Bible verses and say, well, this is what the Bible says, and and the next stream be pissed off at someone.
She is crazy like that.
Talking about carrots up the wahoo. I mean, that's how she operates, and it's like, whatever, but that's how... That's what I can't stand about it.
I think to a certain degree, everybody has kind of got that streak, but for the most part, she's just very mundane.
Very mundane.
Very mundane.
And she's a very do as I say, not as I do.
Exactly.
I'm going to pretend to be ignorant about anything that's unpleasant that might lead to me having to explain a position that I have that I haven't figured out what it is
and
yet.
If you catch her,
but she never ever
Randy,
watches anything.
If you catch her like dead to rights, her or Randy dead to rights, she'll start to talk about context. Like when they brought up Little Rosie because they thought somebody else was going to bring up Little Rosie, and then a few of us said, well, we saw what happened. I had a vlog about it, and we decided at that point not to go forward with it, but someone else did instead, and it was. But this is what happened. And they did this whole stream about their relationship with their family and this and that. Yeah. And then they didn't know that this other stream existed. So this other stream was played. And Wendy said something, because it's like, oh. So a lot of people were like, okay, so we get it now. It's whatever. But Wendy was like, that's taken out of context. No, it was a whole stream that happened. It was a whole hour-long stream. That's not it.
The context was
the
right
context
there.
is right there. You tried to rewrite history, and this is what actually happened. No, that stream was taken out of context. That was her answer. That was her answer.
Yeah.
There was a lot of people that had to make amends for that situation, and they did.
Hey,
people know, people know how to make amends. These people don't.
It says, what they care who gets money? I take the money I take all the money all of you want to give me. Full disclosure, I will waste it on useless crap and junk food, which is probably what most people do. I think
But see how that statement.
I find like going back and like looking at, because remember there was a while nobody wanted, after it had all finally died down a little, nobody wanted to hear about St. Jude anymore. You know, nobody wanted to. But at some point, I do believe there is going to be a falling out between someone where it's going to come out.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they kind of dance around. Because it's back to this. If Sin was so untrustworthy that from the get-go, she was saying these different things, right? She was saying that she was dating Joe Elliott. Is that his name?
Guy. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
But these different things that she was
so.
going to pay to repair someone's house, that she was waiting on a lawsuit. I do think this, because someone asked, Daria asked, Randy, you have culpability in the fact that you knew early on that this woman lies and lies a lot. And some of the people that you call friends, you let believe that she could do things that she obviously couldn't. You could have told Uber, hey, guess what? I wouldn't take that she's got a son that's on hospice. I would take it at face value because, you know, whatever. And I think that y'all would have been smart to also. I just don't think you can have that many red flags and not. So, Randy, you were, whatever the currency was, whether it was attention or money or gifts or whatever it is, Sin was satisfying something in you that made you more connected to that than you were to B and Bam and just about anybody else. Wendy, except who knows what Wendy knows. I mean,
she might be, but you're onto something there. It speaks more about how, you know, what everybody already knew and had their opinion about Sin. But when we all said, if nothing else, she is close to Randy. That's what we knew. So when Randy could have just simply said, Dad, there's a falling out. Me and Sin aren't that close anymore, like most of us do when a friendship goes awry. Not 2 or 3 days of railing on this girl. It spoke, volumes about two things. Number one, your value of other people, the ones that you call your friend. As Mandi has said, there's got to be some currency. And also how much this YouTube, what people think of what you're saying and the value of your channel, that it was so important that you had to publicly execute this person. You could have just said, you know what, I've had enough of the craziness. I just couldn't do it anymore. I tried to be your friend and I couldn't. Instead, it was this very poorly done series of live streams.
Well, she had to annihilate her credibility and her character.
So that if she comes back later. So that if she did come back and say, she goes, well, guess what? Here it is. Anybody could come back and talk about Randy in anything past history. And, and they would tend to believe it. There's so much more credibility in what other people have to say now because of the behavior we've been seeing lately. And
there's enough people, if you watch how she interacts with different people that she doesn't like or is to intimidate, that they have something.
Well, even with Daria, when Daria asked a simple question, a
very fair question,
she put into words on a stream what a lot of people were thinking. When someone says, I'm just saying what everyone else is thinking. She did, and it was like, ba-dee, and then she went dark. Then she went dark. Like right after that, she was like,
You're right. You're right, Lexi. What happened with Bam, at least this go round with us, is she was told something happened, that things that we said that didn't happen now.
Right.
So that's what we kind of, again, they had to, when we started talking about it, Randy had to assassinate our character to her.
Right. That's what she does.
To make sure that when
she goes to FOD and said, Mandi ATX is very severely mentally ill.
Oh, thank you. Tend your soil. A little love for the curly fur babies. Thank you very much. That makes us smile.
Appreciate it.
Love it. Thank you.
Like the FOD thing.
I absolutely. I think she didn't like that FOD liked me. I don't care what FOD said behind my back. I really don't. Anybody who's friends with me knows that I don't give a shit.
When the DM came out that ATX is severely mentally ill.
Just leave her alone.
She has to isolate people.
Well, and if I'm severely mentally ill, Randy, then you need to come into the psych ward and sit by me because you are right there with me, girl.
And what Randy doesn't realize that in the background in all of our lives, there's a big circle of people. Most of us are all DC OGs that sit back and go, Randy's OG DC, she's doing her own thing and she's harmless to everybody else. I wouldn't trust her as far as I could throw her. That's why she's the noodle, but But the sin thing, people were just finally like, fuck this.
And the thing that I've always thought about the FOD thing, the FOD and Randy thing, I think that to what degree, I have no idea, but I do think that something went on between the two of them, possibly before she was sure, what FOD identified as, and then, probably after for a certain amount of time. Mm-hmm. Someone else that was also giving advice and talking to FOD at the time was Sam and Yaba. And Sam had recorded some of the conversation. And
Yaba's really the one that really.
And so at that time, the premise of why I was like, oh, that's awful is because transgender people have been known to take their lives if they're made fun of. Mm-hmm. And they recorded FOD. Yep. But I think that Sam knows the whole enchilada. Mm-hmm. I think she knows the whole kit and caboodle. And that's why Randy says, I don't like Sam. I have her blocked. But she is scared to death to go head to head with her. And then again, Wendy's just over here. And does Wendy know? Who knows if Wendy knows?
Yep.
But that's my, and you said that sounded pretty, I've always thought that since that whole thing happened.
And if they were to hear this and they're going to say, Wendy will say, they say that all the OGs think this and blah, blah, blah. Show me one. But no, why would we throw them under the bus?
Yeah.
We know what we know. You guys know who ATX is friends with.
If you've ever been in any sort of training about like mediation, conflict resolution, whatever, they said the most common cop-out is, name one example. Name one. They said. Name one person, just one. Name one. And call you on the spot to discredit you. You know what I mean? Yep. That is a number one tactic that people
Randy
try.
Even tried it. She's just no good at it. When you were on her stream, that soundbite that came up was when Randy said, ATX, I could name 4 people right now who, and it's like Randy, we know about 20, 25.
No,
it's like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
I know what you're saying.
I know 4 people. It's like they try to do this absolute. It's like, let's give them a poll. Hey, people, gather around. We're going to, Sean says we should take a poll. So by people, I'm going to do a poll and you guys vote. And she still 1 out of 10 said that she was fucked up.
And I know. And I'm like, that Sean told you to put that poll up.
Yeah. So that's how, and I'm saying, watch this. If she gets 100% of her on that poll, then I'll go, well, fuck. But anything less than say 90, 95, and it ended up being like, it's because even in their own circle, that she's got gets 10 times the views. So that 10% that doesn't like it was like, no, you were fucked up, Randy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, and it's starting to grow. I mean, if Mandi and I were to get all the people that watch us and say, let's do a poll, we get 90% of the people that would say,
yeah, whoever your
but that's the tactic that they use. It's like, oh, let's show them, guys. Let's show them.
And then always thank you for your kind messages. I've gotten so many messages of support. That's a freaking lie, and you know it.
Yep.
I mean, we could have
it vindicates me.
If there's something,
your comments vindicate me.
It's none of us are getting 10s and 20s and 30 comments going, hang in there. And you don't. Nobody is. People claim that nobody is.
Yep.
I'm gonna take my puppy out in a second.
No.
Sean is. I'm gonna sit back down. I just have to take the puppy out.
I'll take the puppy out. He plays you.
Oh, he plays me.
Come on.
Look at him. He's right there.
Let's go. Come on. Let's go potty. He's looking at you like, no, I want you to take.
I know. He's like, so that she can chase me down the street.
He won't run off from me.
He's not gonna run off. So that was that in a nutshell. Now I'm gonna talk about fun things. Let's talk about which topic should we talk about next? Chickens, sports. What was the other one? Cameras, or more gossip. What should be the next title of this next section? Yeah, someone said, I see the braids, but do you have a scarf? No, the bottom part of my hair is darker. And so the highlighted part I braided right here. So then it kind of looks like there's like several different colors, but I see why you're saying it looks like maybe there's a scarf around the back of it. Let's see. Wendy hides her account. Not everyone could vote. Really, Stitching?
What happened?
Wendy hides her account. Not everyone could vote. That's interesting. They're very, very, they're very fixated on whether or not they're believed, whether or not they are within their, political correctness, thing, like this hillbilly. Okay, so Randy takes serious offense to the term hillbilly, and I am really, really sorry that you take offense to it. What I'm not is I don't give a shit at all. Not too long ago, well, it was when we were in the apartment, I jumped on a panel with you, Randy, because you had been talking about my private parts for going on a damn hour. So Savage and I jumped up there to find out, hey, why you talking about my private parts, you weirdo? And that was a fun, good time. Remember that?
Yeah.
So
I do remember that.
That was offensive. I'm sorry that you think hillbilly's offensive, but when I hear the word hillbilly, you literally, like if I was on a subway station and there was this poster about hillbillies or whatever, she'd be on it.
Well, yeah. And the thing about it is talking about people in the drama community is what we do. Yeah, it was distasteful that you wanted to go for Mandi's anatomy. First of all, we're old.
We're old.
She's younger than I think you're younger than both Randy and Wendy.
Yeah.
By about 10 years, right? They're about my age.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but at the end of the day, we have enough going on in our lives where Mandi and I will come on here and talk to y'all, and we don't. I have a feeling that they just watch it constantly. Check the Twitter. Check the this, check that.
Wendy, I don't believe I get clips sent to me that you don't watch everything, and you get, because you'll say, well, someone sent me a small clip, so I don't know. But then you're like, but then when I got to time 15.48, they were saying, that was another thing. I don't know all of the players, but I was washing my car about a month and a half ago, and they were talking about that it was weird that someone was selling their child's underwear online, like on a Poshmark or something. So
that is
Wendy said that it was weird, and
I would agree with that.
I mean, but that was her take on it. That's weird. I think it's weird
to bring that up,
but to say, well, I think it's weird to say you're selling your kids' underwear. Okay, well, that's a little bit different than wording it. Well, I was going to sell them on Poshmark or whatever. That doesn't mean they're used. It's whatever. Wendy has to make it sound dirty. So whether or not it is weird or not is but irrelevant. She has to make it seem
she does it with this stoic, this whole, it's like,
hey, Presley.
Do you guys remember Saturday Night Live where there was the guy that would sit there and he'd smoke the cigarette?
Presley said happy birthday.
Oh, thank you.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Presley. The guy from Saturday Night Live that would sit there and he'd go, I know that. What makes you think I don't know that? I know. No, it's not. That's who she reminds me of. Older people, do you guys remember that on Saturday Night Live? And he would smoke a cigarette till it went all the way down to an ash.
And he was just a dude?
Yeah, I'll find him on. There's got to be YouTube videos of him. And it's like, because when you can't, it's like when you say something, it's like, I know that, right? And it's just a very. Sometime in our lives, when we get to be however years old, we develop some kind of a personality. You know,
Yeah. My guess would be that
unless she's completely different. But here's the thing: I don't think that I think there was a time where she worked. I think there was a time, and you could tell she would talk about work and this and that. I think that she. I don't know if she works anymore. And the reason why I say that, and it's kind of short-sighted of me to say it, but it's just an observation.
Grab another.
It's very much like there's not a whole lot of interaction with other people.
No, that's my point.
You know, because you kind of can figure out. I just thought.
Yeah.
You know.
And the funny thing is, I don't even necessarily dislike either one of them, because how much can you dislike someone who you just go back and forth and banter? It's not like we've done anything disgusting to each other, like some people. But this is my point with her specifically. I think that she does not have the voice to say when she's having a rough time and needs to unplug. I don't think that she is able to do that the way that she needs to, because Randy's got to earn the money, and she can't do it by herself.
Randy has zero respect for, or the boundaries are such that
Hey, Black
there's no boundary. There's no boundaries between, like, I have to check out. The boundary is that the channel and the show and the live stream takes priority. And you see that. I mean, even lately, for whatever the bigger picture is with Randy right now, she's very, very, very messy right now. Very, kind of a lot of it. She's kind of just out there.
Well, the guttural way she'll get pissed off.
There's something to that.
We've heard it twice,
how
3 times.
She can sit there and get backed into a corner on a question where the truth would do. The truth would do, and all of a sudden it's almost like, and then she goes black.
Yeah.
And
I would respect, Wendy, I would respect to not make you come on with me if you were having a moment. I still think one of the sweetest stories I ever heard was when you were having a downtime and your son came in and played the guitar and sang to you.
That is a good story.
And when I was typing in the chat when we were talking about the takedown man thing, so you unblocked me long enough for that chat or whatever, and I told you, we're not so different. Oh, Presley, thank you. Happy birthday. Sorry, I can't say. Thank you. Let me know how the Hubs is, though, Presley.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I know the Cubs didn't make the playoffs, so you're allowed to cheer for the Braves.
Black Dragonfly, yeah. Just Trolling is trying to get adopted by a rich broad up in here. I don't know if there's any single rich broads up in here. Pepper pizza, that's always good. Hey, Terry. But that was I think I made all the points I wanted to about that. I don't can't stand either one of them. I think that there are certain things about them that you can connect with. But I think for the most part, they're liars.
I mean, it's the drama community. I mean, we can say things like the truth will do and all that. The drama community is built on, we've gone through a couple periods of time in the last 6 or 7 years where, if you guys have been around, where people have pushed and said, we have to, our community has to be better and this and that, and we're not going to do. And the first time it lasted a couple of months. The second time it lasted a couple more months. And then the third time it never took hold. People are like, no, we come to the drama community to watch some bullshit, some immature. Yeah,
nobody's here to
immature dragging.
Well, some people like our chickens.
They like, but the drama community stuff. I'm not talking about the chicken stuff. That's different. But I mean, I'm telling you, like I've mentioned it before, people at my work have looked at it and go, you guys are like horrible to each other. But that's what we do. And then all of us, all the channels, you name a person in the drama community, they've all kind of branched off to do other things, whether they do the true crime or whether they're calling out the bullies or they're doing the chickens or whatever. Randy and Wendy are still trying to act like they did 4 years ago. They're trying to be the moral compass. And so there's people that watch them believing that it is a morally, the moral high ground. then it's ridiculous.
And when we were on she and I spoke when I was on the panel, she goes, ATX, you're always beefing with somebody. I see on Twitter, you're always beefing with somebody. Randy can beef with people I've never heard of.
I know.
Be doxing each other's kids and everything else, and then that one goes away. Or sometimes it's 3 at one time. I mean,
I do believe that if Randy could find like a community where they were all like remember when we were watching the Wheel of Time, the Children of the Light?
I thought
the guys that ride around, doing the Lord's work, but they're super violent, and they. I'm sure that. I don't know. That's what she wants. I'm sure that she wants to convince herself of that. I just think that you have to go out and do some real world things and kind of balance everything.
Yeah.
Go out and get some chickens. I tell you what, if you want some chickens, we'll.
She supposedly goes camping now. Like,
I mean, you ended up with Sam's dog, right?
No, Wendy has Sam's dog.
That's what I mean. That's what I'm talking about.
Wendy.
So if you want, we can get some chickens,
you want
so that you have something
Wendy?
else that you can do with yourself.
You can put them in an incubator and hatch them there. Most HOAs allow them. It's like an old.
Do you know that I did a $600
Cashy.
Now, what does it take to spend $600 on mail? I'll tell you what it does. 4 grown hens and 2 grown roosters.
Is $600?
They were about almost $100 each to send
the way they need
overnight in a big enough crate. To be there by 6 p.m. tomorrow.
Were they mad? Was the rooster mad?
Oh, the roosters were pissed off. There was 4 hens, and they were each in their separate.
About the roosters were separated?
There was one rooster in particular that every time and they were cockadoodle doing in the post office. I should have got a video.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen that.
But I made that. I mean, so I did all the paperwork, and I got the receipt, and I was like, that's $600. I'm done for the day. I'm going to go work in the back.
You're like, and I don't have to have any of them nurse them back to health.
Yep.
Yes, you are exactly right. Kat said there is nothing moral about stealing from children fighting for their life.
And that's
Karen will mail eggs.
That's Khaki. That is the scandal, and everybody that's been here for it and has their opinion to one extreme or the other. We're just talking about their day-to-day, everyday activity.
But speaking of that,
their vernacular,
that scandal. I remember when it was there for a long time, but when it really took off, and there was a ton of people coming for Diane, I sent Diane a DM and said, for what it's worth, I don't think that you took off with sent a whole bunch of money that. When she said, I send it, but I don't send all of it.
Right.
Then
and I think she was always a little bit.
But it was a lot, and there should have been a lot more.
There should have been a lot more, but
now I don't care because all 3 of them turned out to be dicks. But
here's the thing that Diane fucked up. Right, wrong, or indifference in this community. If she had attacked it right away, Diane was so pompous about it that she was didn't say anything for 2-3 weeks. Remember that? That's where everybody, including her own friends, were and people, her followers were fuck this. If she'd have said, I don't owe the money, or something
right,
as wrong and as despicable and as disgusting as it is, she would have still had the place in the drama community. She would have.
No, it's that Sean, people should not forget or forgive the cancer thing about how the kids died or the parents whose kids are gone.
That's right. I'm saying if Diane had come forward at the beginning and said, no, I kept the X amount, and then turned around and sent X amount to make it right, I'm telling you, in this community, she would have had a platform somewhere.
Right.
And people were still led by Wendy and Randy. They were still giving her a platform to come on. And it took Savage going after her finally and saying, no, fuck you, fuck this. The Molly Go Lightly thing is the last straw. No, to finally drive her away. to finally make her be gone.
Presley says, well, Presley said that really angers her when channels take money, taking it from money on kids missing. That's the one thing YouTube is wrong for. Stellar 911 says, in the so-called information age, it boggles me that people won't do the obvious. Reach out to the person spoken about who can provide clarity about a situation. Are you Stellar? Are you 1200 man Stellar? I know, I'm just curious. You're very well spoken.
People were saying all the time.
I know it got brought. I watched I didn't know enough about it, so I watched. Okay, cool. I watched what you had put together about it.
Stellar said yes.
Before, we went with it. First of all, that's a pretty generous.
Yeah.
That's pretty generous.
We brought that to life. So, because we were.
As an example.
As an example. The thing about
because then she dragged him.
The St. Jude thing is this is what else Diane did. She took the St. Jude's platform and made herself kind of like a spokesperson. Because a lot of people the whole time were like, why don't you just give directly to St. Jude's? But people empowered Diane. She had a big crowd, and they were using her platform, and they think, they were supporting her, and they were giving her that type of power. That other people were like, if I want to give $100 to St. Jude's, I'm going to give it to St. Jude's. That's what they exist for.
Okay, so Stellar says, she never asked for money, ever, point one. Stellar says, I didn't ask for it back, point two. Well, so you just arbitrarily decided to
give her money? I'm telling you,
it's what it is, but I'm just saying it should never have come out as a scandal.
I'm going to say this too. If somebody was just going to hand Mandi a bunch of money, I think she would first let me know and then probably say no. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it just respectfully.
And I get it, Stellar. The donation was never made public until a year later. But why did it have to get brought out? And why did things have to get nasty between you and
why?
her?
And
it shouldn't have come out.
Right.
It shouldn't have come out.
Nope. But there was another group of people too.
But around her, this stuff happens
over and over. Diane kind of expounded on what Shoot the Shits. Remember Shoot the Shits doing the Christmas thing that Shoot the Shit used to do? You remember that?
Yes.
The first year that they did it, and they earned a lot of money and gave it to different people, and then Shoot the Shit became sort of that platform that whenever there was the hurricane, they're giving money to people and this and that, and then that turned sour. We are not a community that is raising money for any kind of benefits or any kind of charities. You can give straight away. If you feel like somebody else needs, money for something, you just give it to them directly. You don't need
tips and donations are one thing, but like funding things.
When they have a platform and they advertise St. Jude's or hurricane victims, the drama community, and people have said it over and over again. They have said it never ends up well when you do something like that.
Stellar said, Randy owned the reason it came out publicly. I have been blessed financially, and when I retired, one of several goals I was to pay it forward and help others, which is fantastic. But what I remember happening though was there was something that you had said to comfort her about her mother, and you came at it religiously like a Christian, and it involved like kind of a metaphor of I'm trying to think of how to say it. A metaphor that involves like breastfeeding, but like
here's the thing,
something.
though.
Hold on, something that he can type in what it was, and Randy took offense to it and thought it was dirty, which she didn't mean it that way. So regardless of like when it got lent, how it got out, whatever, it turned into a nasty thing for a while
because she brought it up. And for Stellar who's in the chat, hopefully it's not taken by you that we're coming at you, because we're not. I'm just saying that straight up.
Callie asked Stellar, did Jim know you gave her money?
That's the other point. If the answer is yes, it's yes. Because if someone hands Mandi $1,200 and she comes to me, I'm going to be like,
okay. A priest friend of mine wrote those words who speaks on suicide several times a year. She acknowledged she said it out of anger. See, and you're a good guy.
See? She said it out of anger.
She did, but I mean, she admits it now. It's just that when we start putting together like a diagram of, she likes to say that, you know, where I'm slimy, shady, all of those things, and I'm like, you got a lot of stuff that comes up with your name.
This whole situation, and we actually to the point where a person involved jumps into the chat to actually give some truth to it.
Yeah.
Because that side is going to give you a story that is not going to paint the other person in such a great light.
Exactly.
And that's kind of our point.
And Stellar, it's cool of you to come in. Thank you for calling in and say the other side of it. That makes more sense. I just remember at the time it was going back and forth and other people were involved, and I just remember thinking, well, here's Randy again, and money.
And the truth would have done. The truth would have done. I mean, it's like, we listened to Stellar streams.
Yes, Lexi is
right. We listened to them. And there was big discrepancies between the explanations of it. And that's going to happen, but it's just another time, another thing, another log on the fire where people look at Randy over there and go, you're shady.
Yeah.
And we're all shady, but guess what? We all own that we're shady. They're still trying to keep this moral high ground.
Yeah, all of us being some sort of cohesive community. Because used to, if you were OG, you could not like each other, like really not like each other. But if someone was in need, the community came together. I'm not going to speak on anything anymore. Like if something happens that's real life to someone who's on the platform, whether I like them or not, or and the what you think that you should do is maybe just do a, hey, you know, whatever, a blanket kind of, what am I trying to say? Like words of compassion.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
I do.
Pay respect. Nobody does it anymore because it turns into something disgusting.
Later on down the road, if you cross somebody, or somebody is now friends with somebody else, your words will get twisted.
Yeah.
And your words will change.
This one right here, Stellar said, this is what the priest had said. When a person dies of suicide, God welcomes them into God's breast like a mother welcomes her newborn with love. I don't think that's dirty.
That's not dirty.
Well, I mean, I don't think it's off color or off-putting, and I certainly don't think it's creepy. And that's what was said to him about that.
So there was a sizable whatever given, and then they double down and say that it's creepy. Am I getting that right? Or am I wrong?
Yeah, when it came after, like he was saying, it was a month and a half later that it became public that it happened.
It's all.
And then she was mad because it became public. I don't even. He could probably explain how it became public, but
he said that she spoke on it.
Yeah.
That's how it became public.
Yeah, it's just there again. Yes. St. Jude's own investigation in London, Ontario police did separate investigations proving Tucker kept their donations earmarked for St. Jude. Oh, that's interesting. I'd always heard of Tucker and St. Jude, but I didn't know.
I did. I remember that a little bit, but that wasn't really our community, you know.
Did he get arrested?
He kept them all.
Yes, Randy did own the fact that the 1,200. Okay. Yeah, if it sounds like if he was really running a fundraiser, like legit through them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's strange. Very, very strange. You know?
Yes, you spelled puppet master right, Khaki.
There's a few people in here that I remember you used to see in Randy's stream and whatever.
I'm telling you, if you go back to, in the comments in our other, you don't have to give it a view, but you can look in the comments, I think it's 2 ago. There's at least one person, maybe 2. I know there's one for sure, and I think the other one might have been in a DM, but it's there. And they'll give you their story of how Randy kind of flipped on them and this and that. And so it's right there.
Yeah,
so we're starting to see people creep into the chat that are like, I don't know, Stellar's kind of clarifying some things, but the bigger point is that it turns into something different. The history changes how Randy wants her people to hear it. And we're starting to see people in the chats now that are now coming out and actually putting comments in the chat because.
And that's all fine and good. Like we wouldn't. I mean, other than it's a YouTube beef that people like to watch, we don't have anything invested in whether or not we talk about it or not. But it's
if you're
fun if you keep talking about us. We can.
There's certain people that if they talk about you, like you've seen Mandi and I, when people talk about us, you've seen other platforms talk about us. We say our piece one time and we're done. You saw that with Sam and Yaba. You see that with some of the other people that came after us. We just act like they don't exist because that was the way that we showed people that they can't hurt you. Randy's doesn't. We don't feel that way about Randy's not going to hurt anybody by talking bad about him. We have fun with this.
Yeah.
By calling her out on her bullshit.
I don't think she has as much fun though. When I wanted to go on the panel, we're gonna have to go because he's not gonna leave me alone.
She just doesn't hold that.
I'll take you. Hold on.
She doesn't have that same charisma. That kind of.
What?
Oh my God, she's dragging us. It's amusing. So we'll talk about it. There's other people that were like, we don't want to go down that because they make you feel icky. They make you feel like when you go down the rabbit hole with certain people and then they go real life and they get nasty and we go nasty. We'll just freeze them out. Randy doesn't have that ability. She'll just change history. She'll just change it back and forth to however, whatever she feels like. And if the masses have a different opinion, she'll change history to fit that. And that's what she does. She's a noodle.
It's like a lot of people. When new people come through, they change the thing.
Every platform. We've seen it with another one. There's always, how many people can listen to this? There's always going to be new people come in, and a few will believe it for a while, and then they don't believe it more.
Thank you, Stellar.
Thanks for coming in.
That he reconciled with Randy, and your mileage may vary. I believe she has a good heart, but we all make some bad decisions, myself included. Sean has been known to make a bad decision a time or two. Myself as well. And beyond that,
Stellar, thanks for coming in because it just goes to show that what we're talking about is getting to people. They're seeing it.
Yeah.
They're seeing it. And, we haven't really had anybody come in into our comments and say, you're wrong and shut the fuck up. We now have had someone to come in and say, let me tell you how it actually happened because I was part of it. And that's cool. And it takes courage to do it too. I think.
But yeah, it does take. And the other thing is, our big takeaway is always, people love the drama till they are the drama.
Right.
Well, Randy, you make a lot of people the drama.
Your whole channel is built on drama.
You're the drama.
You can be the drama. Roll with it. It's not that big a deal. You made this thing with Stellar drama. And Stellar comes in here and tells us exactly how it went down. And now that I see from the actual person, I read it. What he wrote, it said, why did you even bring it out? What did you have to do that for? You didn't. But it's drama.
Well, probably he was asked to make it right.
Oh, like make a statement or something like that?
I don't know. She probably thank you for being
that's cool.
This is not about you, but she did what she did with Bam. She ran to Stellar and said, they're talking about the money, Stellar. They're talking about the money. And then he came in here and said, and that's fine. It's not going to change my opinion of you, but that's all good.
And our opinion of Stellar is good.
No, it's not going to change my opinion of
Randy's going to go from person to person thinking that they're going to drag us, thinking that they're going to come after us. They're not. This is about Randy, not about the people that you fuck shitted with, okay? It's about Randy.
Sometimes it may be the people but not this time.
And it wasn't with Bam either. It wasn't with Bam. It had nothing to do with Bam.
This is what she did. She ran and said...
She just happened to be a person that was part of history. And Randy ran to that. Randy ran to her.
Stellar was watching. He said he doesn't talk to her
very
often. So
Thank you.
You're a viewer. Thank you.
It was when we saw Bam's reaction, because we watched it, because a few people said that she was talking about us. It was very obvious that she'd been told a bunch of crap. And she kind of backpedaled it a little bit.
Yeah, because I was like, that's not exactly what happened, but it's all good fun.
Guys, thanks.
Thank you.
I'm off tomorrow, so
Tomorrow we'll have a more permanent thing. If you have slippery pants on, you fall off the wooden bar stool.
season 2 of Wheel of Time maybe tonight.
Sure.
Second half of the Giants game maybe tonight, and Devil Face Smiling maybe tonight.
I knew you were
We'll
going to
see.
say that.
See y'all.
Bye.
Appreciate
Have a good
the donations.
night.
Have a good night.
Bye.